Hey everybody, welcome back to the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. I'm your host, Gordo Gamble, joined by this beauty of a man, Keyroad, and we're here, another day, another dollar, another week of UFC action. And I mean, we're coming off what was a beauty of a card last week. How was it?
It was exactly what you said. It was a beauty of a card. I mean, what more could you ask for from a UFC pay-per-view event, UFC 266? It was an awesome weekend. So many exciting fights, so many big moments, so many storylines. I mean, it was an entertaining time, and not as hype of a card this weekend, but we're looking at getting back into it and making some money.
I mean, you had that deep choke that Ortega had on Volk last week, Valentina's domination there. You had so many key moments in that fight night, and guess what? We went 12 for 13 on predictions, 12 for 13 on method of victory as well, if you checked out the live stream with us on Friday, and we killed it. I mean, we made some insane bets. Of course, we're killing our plays as always. We made some beautiful lineups, and I mean, we hosted a tournament. Congratulations to our winner, Brendan. Money was transferred earlier today, and I want to do that again later, so make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe. We want to do that again. So without wasting more time though, let's get into this week. I mean, another week of a lot of fights. We have 13 this week again, Santos versus Walker. And let's get it started. Our favorite high value target with the most upside we see this week is actually going to be in the main event. Tell us about Thiago Santos.
There's a reason that Santos has a main event this weekend, and it's because he is an elite fighter, right? He's been right up there with some of the biggest names in the sport, and he's been right there with them. He has lost his last couple fights, but slow decision. He looked great against Glover on the feet, and we really like him this week, going up against a guy in Walker who we know has a bit more of a glass chin and doesn't necessarily have the repertoire that Santos does. He hasn't faced the same level of competition that he has before, and Santos is a great technical striker. I mean, this guy definitely has the ability to get KOs, and he definitely has the ability to do that on a guy in Walker who isn't really known for his ability to take a lot of hits. So even with the 8.8K price tag, we really like the experience that Santos has here in this spot, and we think that he can definitely score big against Walker, especially if he gets that knockout.
I mean, we see that this is a 5-round main event, but I don't even think Santos is going to need more than, let's say, 2 rounds. I think he has the ability to get him out there early. I mean, Walker's a madman. He's going to throw out there. He's going to throw out insane power, and he's going to take some in return. And I do think that Santos is way more durable than Walker. We know that. And it's up to Santos to land that finishing blow to put Walker's lights out. And I think he can do that this weekend.
All right, moving from the $8,800 price tag down to our first underdog that we like this week. Who is it?
I mean, I think that Jamie Mullarkey's being a bit overlooked in this spot here against Smith. I mean, yes, he lost his first 2 fights, but he went out there and he looked amazing his last time out, starch and comma worthy, putting him out there in that very first round. And we know that Smith has that round 1 KO potential, but we've seen Mullarkey be really, really durable. I think Mullarkey has a very, very well-rounded game, and I think he's to be able to take it to Smith wherever he wants. I mean, we've seen he has a good grappling background, and he has a really good power as well in the hands, very technical strikes. And we've seen that Smith can't necessarily take it as well as he can dish it out. We know he has insane power, one of the best power punchers in the division, but he got knocked out his last time out. And we think that Mullarkey's going to be able to do it again. At $7,500, I'm really, really liking him in this spot. I think he's durable enough to survive that early onslaught from Smith and be able to put him out there later rounds. Now, whereas Thiago Santos might be like more of a GPP play, if you do think Walker's going to be able to starch him out there early, our favorite cash option, our favorite pay-up option at that 9K price tag is going to be one of my favorite fighters on the UFC roster in Casey O'Neill. Tell us why.
Yeah, I mean, O'Neill here facing Shevchenko, but don't be fooled. This is not the real Shevchenko. This is her sister.
Walmart version.
This is Walmart Shevchenko, who we do not like nearly as much. I mean, there's a reason that Casey O'Neill has a $9,000 price tag this week, and as you said, is one of our favorite cash options this week. We're pretty confident in her ability to get this done. I mean, she has a fantastic ground game and extremely well-rounded. She has that great killer instinct that is so important to have as a fighter, and we think that she's going to get this one done on Shevchenko, who hasn't shown a lot recently. She gets dominated on the ground a lot, to be honest, and with Casey O'Neill's ability to both win on the feet and win on the ground, we definitely think she's going to live up to this $9,000 price tag this week, and we like this spot a lot, especially in cash lineups.
I mean, if you look at the last fight that Shevchenko had against Lee, I mean, Lee dominated her on the ground. And I think Casey O'Neill is steps above Lee here. I do think there's a little bit of bias on the money line, but on DraftKings, it should be her all day. loving her in cash. I'm going to rack up those takedowns, rack up those points, rack up that control time, and score really, really big for us this week.
All right, moving back down the price range a little bit, who's a kind of mid-tier cash option who we like?
One of my favorite fillers in the entire lineup is going to be Nico Price, sitting at a price tag of 8.4K. I mean, he's been in some absolute barn burners recently, especially that last one against Pereira. You could have scored that last round at 10-8 for him if you really think so too. So, I mean, this guy doesn't give up. He will fight for your money, and he's facing someone this week in Oliveira, who we've seen be the opposite as of late. I mean, he's a veteran of the sport, much respect to him, but he's given up in a few of his fights, and he's been subbed 2 times in a row, and Nico Price has a really, really sneaky ground game. I mean, not that he necessarily has to use it. I mean, he has the ability to stand up, pick him up at range, and Nico Price is a very, very good and dangerous striker as well. But what I'm trying to say here is he has so many options to get this done against Oliveira, and I really think he can do it. And at a price tag of 8.4K, I'm loving him this week to fill in our mid-range price tags. Now, if you are saving money, you want to go for that big top dollar prize this weekend, a very good GPP option of ours is going to be Misha Cirkunov, sitting at 7.6K. Tell us why we like him this week.
Yeah, I mean, Cirkunov is facing a guy this week in Jotko, and he is the underdog here with a price tag of $7,600, which means right away, if you see him winning, you got some value there. And Cirkunov, we know, maybe one of his weaknesses is that he has a little bit of a glass chin. He definitely gets knocked out from time to time. But he's facing a guy this week in Jotko who isn't really known for his extreme power, right? He's known as more of a technical striker, and that means that Cirkunov has a better chance of standing up in there and not getting knocked out. And where the advantage really comes in is that Cirkunov is very good on the ground and moving down a weight class. So he's going to be fighting lighter fighters, and he's going to be good on the ground. And we know that Jotko has been controlled on the ground a lot in his career, which means that Cirkunov definitely has a path to victory here if he can hold his own on the feet, which we think that he can against a fighter like Jotko, and then win this game on the ground as much as possible. So at that $7,600 price tag, we think that's great value because of that clear path to victory that he has.
I mean, we all remember that Peruvian necktie he pulled on Crude a couple fights ago. So Misha Cirkunov has skills to pay the bills on the ground. So I'm liking him here at the spot. Great pay down option. If you look up on the card, if you want to pay that extra cash for that extra big safe price tag, someone like Hernandez this week facing someone in Breeded who's making his UFC debut. I mean, 9.4K for Hernandez, and rightfully so. I think he's better almost everywhere. It's going to be a huge step down after facing some really good guys in this division, and he has power for days, so I do think he's be able to put up Breeded there early. You can also look at someone like Aspen Ladd, who I think will be able to dominate Jason, but she is more of a lower ceiling, right? So she'll be safe, a lower ceiling. Same thing with Carol Rosa. I think she really brings it to Beth Kohara this weekend, but she's also a very expensive fighter with the lower ceiling as well. That's going to do it for us this weekend in terms of plays. We throw in a lot of names for you guys. We won't make it any more complicated. If you have any more questions, make sure to check out my Twitter at Gordo Gambles, or both of ours combined at Plays and Fades on Twitter as well. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Check out our Instagram as well, and let's make some money.